Leslie's ranting about Ted and how Ted doesn't give her any credit for giving him the only daughter that wants to spend time with him these days. Although I think it seems to be the other way around, that Ted only wants to spend time with Eva. What is up, fellow Beyond the Gates viewers? I am here to talk about today's December 18th, 2025, Thursday episode of Beyond the Gates. It was a pretty solid episode today overall. I will say one thing Beyond the Gates is finally getting better at, which I complained a lot about the first several months of the show, was the lack of couples with real chemistry. They've actually been trying to find couples with real chemistry, and I do appreciate that at least. But today I want to start with who has become the most intriguing character to me, that being Lynette, who met up again today with Hayley. Hayley's been wanting to know what Lynette's been up to because they caught up on Hayley's life, but before they can really catch up more on Lynette's life, Hayley had a surprise for Lynette, which was she invited Randy over, and Lynette learns that Randy has been in town longer than Hayley has. They do some more reminiscing. Lynette remembered a time when Hayley convinced an old man that she was his long-lost granddaughter and got money out of that old man. Lynette was saying that they were so good together until they left her high and dry, but she knows that there's no real loyalty in this game, which I'm wondering if they are alluding to the fact that Lynette might eventually find out about this scheme of Hayley and Randy's and either want in on it, ruin it, want her piece of the pie. I hope it's all the above. I really like the Lynette character so far. It's giving me the way I felt about Eva and Leslie when the show first started. They were definitely the most intriguing characters the first few months of the show. And I feel like Lynette has kind of brought up that feeling again, at least for me. Today, though, Hayley and Randy were trying to fill her out, trying to see if they are trying to, if she is trying to play them. Lynette is still claiming that she is being falsely accused of embezzlement, that she is out of the game. Randy was trying to figure out if that was true or not, or if she was still running game. So they were trying to test Lynette today. I feel like Lynette passed their test, at least for now, but they still seem very paranoid about it. And I'm still very intrigued where they go with this story and with Lynette's involvement in this story. When Lynette left, Hayley and Randy were left to bicker about getting sloppy when Randy went to the hospital after Bill passed out, which was very sloppy. But Randy's been sloppy this whole time, and frankly, Hayley has too. They haven't been exactly doing the best job with this scheme when it comes to their sloppiness. While Hayley was dealing with that situation, Bill was waiting for her at the country club, but ended up running into Dani. He told her that he was there to meet Hayley, and she had a great line about how she will get a booster seat and crayons ready for Hayley to arrive. You know, Dani's insults to Hayley don't hit as hard as they used to when we all thought that Hayley was just some home-wrecking bimbo. But they still do hit. Dani always has some great lines when it comes to insulting Hayley and her age compared to Bill's. Bill hit back because Dani is now with a younger man too. And Bill was telling her that he's surprised that her honeymoon phase is still going. Dani was talking about how her and Andre's love may even rival her parents' love. Bill got them to switch out of attack mode and talked about some Christmas gifts he got for their daughters, one of which was tied to Young and the Restless characters, Lauren Fenmore, and he's trying to set up the Chelsea Cat line to partner up with Fenmore. What I liked about the Dani and Bill scenes today is that they do have chemistry. I mean, they've always had the most undeniable chemistry on the cast. They are great in their scenes together, and I like that Dani has gone sober and that Bill noticed that. I guess that's a good way of the show showing us that Dani is actually happy right now with Andre, because when this show first started, Dani was looking like quite the alcoholic. So that was a good thing to point out about the Dani character right now. Dani went on to talk about how she learned from the mistakes with her marriage to Bill, when she basically let Bill choose for her to stop modeling. Bill wanted to remember the good Christmases. We got another flashback of when the characters were younger with the two actors that looked nothing like a young Bill and Dani. But it was a memory of a Christmas when Dani surprised Bill with a #1 dad mug. It was her way of showing Bill that she was pregnant with Naomi. So Bill was excited back then. When Bill and Dani departed and went their separate ways after Hayley arrived, Dani went home to Andre to take a shower with him and to do their lovemaking that they do so well. Bill and Hayley had their dinner together. Bill was distracted per usual, talking about how he wants her to go to the doctor to have a discussion with the doctor about her stopping the birth control pills that she shouldn't even be on. I mean, Bill should have suspected something about this whole taking birth control pills so that she can be more fertile to have a baby, or whatever the excuse was. I always felt like that was a terrible excuse. But Bill is telling Hayley that he is ready to start their family, and Bill is clearly just trying to relive his past times with Dani, now with Hayley. And I feel like Bill wants Hayley to be Dani right now, and that's just never gonna happen. Hayley will never be Dani to Bill, and I don't know what day he will finally accept that, but I do think it has to be coming. But yeah, Bill is trying to relive past happy memories with Dani, now with Hayley, and I don't think that's gonna work out for him. I mean, obviously it's not gonna work out because she's trying to kill him. But let's move on to Leslie and Marcel, who had more scenes today. This was coming off of yesterday's episode with Leslie questioning if Marcel is following her because he actually likes her and is into her, or if he is still being paid to do so. This was Marcel being called out about when the Duprees hired him for Winterfest, which he admitted to, and talked about how they hired him to keep her away from Laura, which of course Leslie had to take more digs at Laura with that. Marcel tried to say he was actually hustling the Duprees to get close to Leslie. He's saying he loves her energy and thinks he can match it. But Leslie wasn't really giving him anything the first part of this episode, but Marcel was wondering if he was reading the signals wrong, but then Leslie grabbed his leg and started flirting back. Marcel's talking about how his wife wants to get a divorce, and Leslie's ranting about Ted and how Ted doesn't give her any credit for giving him the only daughter that wants to spend time with him these days, although I think it seems to be the other way around, that Ted only wants to spend time with Eva. They have oddly dropped Leslie's obsession with Ted lately, and I don't know if that is to move her on from Ted to Marcel, but that's kind of been like one of the main sticking points to everything Leslie does. So I feel like that's a hard plot point for the show to just move away from. Marcel did call Ted the biggest fool in the DMV if he couldn't see what he had in front of him with Leslie, which honestly, Ted might be one of the biggest fools in the DMV. I mean, if you take away the guy in the White House, I feel like Ted is indeed one of the biggest fools in the DMV, because he does a lot of dumb stuff, especially when it comes to his children. Ted can be one slow-ass character. Leslie's saying she's only ever loved one person, one man, her entire life, and that's Ted Richardson, and she's not going to change. So they are kind of still keeping Leslie's obsession for Ted with this dialogue. So she's telling Marcel that if he's expecting some whirlwind romance, that's not happening. But he's saying he's unlike any other man she has met before. And they did end up kissing and getting to first base by the end of this episode. I actually do think Marcel and Leslie have chemistry, so that's a good check mark for finding more couples with chemistry for this show. And they're also intriguing because Marcel could be playing Leslie, which would be a nice thing to see. I feel like a large segment of the audience wants to see Leslie have some sort of downfall. If it's not going to be for what she did to Laura, will she lose all her money? Will she lose it to Marcel? Will he swindle her out of money? There's a lot of possibilities there, but there's the other side of the coin that they could become schemers together, and that could be fun too. Last thing to talk about is Anita still feeling scared at the beginning of the episode with her health crisis. And Vernon came to butter her up and show her some love like he always does. She was about to tell him something. She told him that she needs to tell him something. But then the doorbell rang and Andre came to visit. And Andre is helping Vernon out with a surprise for Anita. So we are finally getting closer to Vernon probably singing for Anita. Maybe next week for Christmas. Then Anita caught Andre looking at a Dupree family photo, and they had a good conversation about how Andre feels about him not having his parents for the holidays and how the holidays can hurt because of that. Their talk today was pretty sweet. They have been playing that up a lot with Andre lately, missing his family for the holidays and all of that. After Andre left and went to go do his lovemaking with Dani, Anita and Vernon had another conversation. Anita still not telling Vernon the truth, but she has been talking a lot of past tense things. She talked about how she found real happiness with Vernon and with this family, and that God gave her a blessed life. Vernon is saying that their life together is just beginning. But I fear the story is going to get heavy around the corner. I do think we are heading towards a breast cancer storyline for Anita that will probably be a tough watch at times. But honestly, it's probably, I hate to say it this way, but I do think it's like good for the Anita character in a sense that it gives us a reason to root for her finally. You know, the first 5 months, I don't know all of you that watched me since I started doing the reviews from the very beginning, but the first 5 months, Anita was a character that got on my goddamn nerves. She was so damn uppity, sometimes quite bitchy. And so right now, I do feel for her, though, that she has to go through this crisis. And I think maybe the character of Anita can grow from this experience. I don't expect them to kill Anita off. I don't see Tamara Tooney going anywhere from this show until it is canceled. So that is where we're probably going with Anita. It's going to get heavy. It's going to make me uncomfortable at times, but that's what we got. So today I did think it was solid. I liked all the scenes. I liked the Anita and Andre scene. That got pretty deep. Bill was once again wishing he was with Dani again, which is always fun to see since it's his fault they're no longer married in the first place. Lynette is a character that is very intriguing to me, and the Marcel and Leslie dynamic is also very intriguing to me. Plus, we're getting some couples with chemistry for the first time on this show. So they're getting in a rhythm in some places. The writing still needs to, like I said yesterday, have better vision for where we're going with a lot of these stories. But today's stories were the right stories. Like the Bill, Andre, Dani, Hayley quad triangle is the best story on the show. Bringing Lynette into that story with Hayley is also a good thing. And the Leslie and Marcel thing has a lot of potential. I don't know what the main plot is there, though. That's what we got to try and find. And then the Anita health story, I think, is going to be good, even though it's not a story I like to watch on soap operas. I do think it will probably be good.